Hello. We're laughing because we thought we just went live, but we're not. We're just going live now. Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. I've been very excited, as you've all been aware, watching my posts and my videos about speaking with Steven today. Steven, thank you so much for joining us. I am really grateful that you've said yes to come and speak with us all in my community. I am a big fan, and I am going to throw it over to you to introduce yourself in a minute. But what I want to say is I love the work that you're doing. I love how the work that you do impacts people's lives. I am passionate about journeying with people to transform and become their truest essence of themselves. So it is such a privilege to speak to somebody who's out there and doing such an amazing job. So thank you.
Sue, thank you very much for having me on. Really appreciate it. And I think what you're doing is fantastic as well. And just helping people change their own lives, or giving them the power, empowering them to change their lives. Such a brilliant thing to do as well. And you as a life coach are doing that as well. So it's amazing to talk to you.
Thank you. And Steven, just before we get into some of these questions, can you just give us a little bit of a background about you and how you came to step into this area?
Yes, I've been doing this for the last 30 odd years or something. It all started when a book fell, literally I was in a second-hand bookshop, a book fell on my head. I went down to pick it up, embarrassed because I didn't know if somebody had seen me or not. I went to pick it up and put it back on the shelf, and the book was Think and Grow Rich. And ever since then, that day, that is kind of that, I kind of read the book on the bus ride home. It took about 40 minutes to get home, so I started reading the book and I thought, this is amazing. And ever since then, that's when the self-help journey and becoming really involved in self-improvement kind of started. So it kind of took me on a journey. I started a blog in 2006. I got my degree in psychology, which I love doing as well. And it really started when I was younger before that, because I had a deep belief, a root belief that I was not intelligent. And it started when I was kind of 5 years old, when I had a hearing problem. But very quickly, the hearing problem wasn't. It was something called glue ear. I had an operation for it. And after I got rid, so when I could hear properly again, I still had that deep feeling or deep belief that was not intelligent at all. Until one day when I was walking home from school at 16 years old, I kind of had a revelation, kind of what I call it, an epiphany belief change, that I was intelligent because I'd passed exams. I loved reading, I loved writing, I loved doing kind of what I perceived as intelligent things. So ever since then, that's kind of what started me on a journey. And it's only now, over the last 5 or 6 years, that I can go back to that time and think I had the process for changing beliefs. And now I'm teaching people how to change their own beliefs, their deep held beliefs. And it's such a brilliant experience to do that. So that's kind of a rough journey of where I've kind of came from, going back 30 odd years as well.
Wow, I love that story. And you went down this path of what is, kind of what we now know to be our belief systems, whether they limit us or they expand us. And you went through a process instinctively and worked out that, hey, if I've passed the test, I must be okay. I must be intelligent, and therefore proceeded to move forward. So I love how you came to that yourself. But I love how that journey has brought you to where you are today. And usually what we learn and what we journey through, we're able to teach and share with others. So love it.
Yeah, and that's such a beautiful thing to do. And I think I've discovered the real reason I'm here on this kind of earth is to kind of teach kind of what I've learned. I'm not talking about it in any religious kind of way, but I just believe we're all here. And I think we all come to that conclusion that whatever we learn, we can teach to other people as well and empower other people. And if we can do that, that's such an amazing thing to be able to do before we pass on to another world, wherever we're going to go. And I think that's the reason I'm here, and I love it.
And I refer that to that in my work as igniting the light within us. And so we have, I believe we're born with this light. Stuff happens, it gets dimmed. And then when we find our way back to who we are, the light kind of, lights up again and we shine, and then we pass on that light to others through what we can do to help them on their journey. And so we just, the more we can pass on this light and help others find their light is, for me, it's what is my purpose and my passion.
Yeah, it's amazing and Ian, that's a brilliant analogy as well, kind of igniting the light, because a lot of people, we kind of lose that as we kind of go through life. We're losing that light, and it's almost dimming. When you find it again, the passion is ignited, and that light just kind of really shines brightly. And what better way to kind of show that than to teach others as well?
Yeah, and that's been my journey, so it really excites me to share that.
Brilliant.
Now, for a lot of people that might be listening that might not know or have understood, I guess, how do we form our beliefs? How does it even begin, and how does it end up where it is? Can you give us that?
Yeah, very, very quickly. So when we're younger, so from the ages of kind of birth to 0 to 7 years old, we are in a specific brainwave pattern. It's called alpha to theta, or theta to alpha brainwave pattern. And that's where you're in a kind of very relaxed, kind of meditative, kind of daydreaming state. But we're walking around like that all the time. So we're in a programmable years from 0 to 7 years old. And whatever we're kind of told from teachers, our parents, our peers, our brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, whatever we're kind of told, we tend to believe. And we take on those beliefs from other people as well. So we take on the belief about our kind of personal beliefs as well. Like if somebody tells you you are extremely intelligent when you're young, you grow up to feel extremely intelligent, and your subconscious mind looks for other areas to make you feel extremely intelligent and to pursue areas to feel extremely intelligent. So that's just one of the examples, but conversely, a lot of people have limiting beliefs kind of thrust upon them at that age, at such a young age as well, and they carry it right into adulthood. Now, we don't need to know where the kind of beliefs came from in the first place. We just need to know that they're there, and then to change them. So from 0 to 7, we're very programmable. After that, we're not really programmable. So most of our beliefs have been formed by the age of 7 years old, our personal beliefs, which is amazing because we don't even have the concept of what a belief is at that age. And they're kind of really passed down from our parents, from our teachers, from our peers. And then if you ask yourself, well, if we get our kind of beliefs, our personal beliefs from our parents, where do they get their beliefs from? And then you go, well, they must have got from their parents. And then you say, well, where did they get their beliefs from? They must have got them from their parents. So some of your beliefs are hundreds of years old, and we're still carrying them around. So we need to get rid of them. We need to recognize them first, then kind of look at them and say, okay, what beliefs do I really want to hold about myself? Or what limiting beliefs do I have that I need to get rid of? And that is the process we're going to start. So the very first thing to do is to recognize what beliefs you have in the first place.
Yeah, wow, I love that whole thing when I was reading it in your book, that whole concept of ancestral limiting beliefs, because I've worked with, our limiting beliefs, but when I read your book and I thought, oh my God, that whole, ancestor lineage, if you like, of beliefs that are carried through and we're carrying, and we don't even know what we don't know.
And that's the thing, because we don't know what we don't know, then how do you change something when you don't know that you don't know in the first place?
Yeah.
So it's a very kind of strange concept, but once you become aware, that's kind of what opens up you go, holy shit, I've got all these limiting beliefs I wasn't aware of. And then you can start to work on each one in turn. And
you go, no wonder I'm so stuck.
Exactly.
Everybody's baggage. I've just noticed we've got some people online, so I'm going to say a few hellos. Hello, Catherine, Vassi, there, Ila, Hossa, I hope that's how you pronounce it. Annie, welcome, and thank you for joining us. And at any time that you want to ask some questions, please put them in the chat, and we'll come around and answer those questions in between sort of little segments. So thank you guys for joining us. And welcome.
Yeah, welcome everybody. It's good that you can join us. And as Sue said, if you want to can ask any questions, that'd be brilliant. I'm here to kind of help as much as I can.
Yeah. Our identity is very linked to our beliefs.
Yeah.
So we believe certain things about ourselves, and so that kind of becomes the thing we fulfill in our lives. How do people become aware to recognize what is a limiting belief, I guess, that's driving them? How do they come to that point?
I think what happens usually kind of into adulthood, and I would say mid-20s to kind of over that, probably younger, especially for women, because women are kind of more mature in their thinking as well, and that's not sexist in any way, I hope, but it's just a fact. So we kind of recognise in our lives we have certain goals in our life, but we kind of talk ourselves down from these goals as well. And we talk ourselves down because we don't believe deep down that we can actually achieve those goals. So the way to find out what your limiting beliefs are is just pick one goal that you have. And everybody can do this just now. Pick one goal that you have in your life, whether it be to change career, make more money in your life, find love, lose weight, whatever it is. Pick one goal and then ask yourself, okay, what beliefs would I need to have in order to achieve that goal? What beliefs would I need to have in order to achieve that goal? Now, when you do that, that's when you quickly find your limiting beliefs, because you say, okay, I want to lose weight, for example. You say, okay, I'm not determined enough. So that's a limiting belief, to say you're not determined enough. So you can change that belief to say, I am determined. And there's certain ways you can do that. So there's a whole list of beliefs that you have to reach that goal. And then you find out what the limiting ones are, what the empowering ones are, and you change one in turn to achieve your goal. So it's a very quick and crude way of kind of finding out but it's very effective as well.
Yes, and I find that clients that I work with, that come to me and I'll say, this is the goal that I want to achieve. This is my outcome. And the minute we start to work with the goals is when the triggers come up for them, and then we realize, or we work through the presenting issue is the goals, but that's not what's behind it all. It's that's holding them back. And it's usually then that we uncover it too, because some things you can see really clearly, and some you think, I never even knew that was there. Or how did, where was that sitting all this time? So I find that.
With that as well, I think what you're saying, Sue, that's because you told me a story. I'm not going to repeat that, but you told me a brilliant story. But just say, for example, again, you want to lose weight, but you just don't think you can do it. It's usually nothing to do with losing weight. There's the belief kind of problem, or the limiting belief is something totally underlying it. Yeah. And your story was perfect as well about kind of what you shared with me. So it is, you're right, it's usually something underlying.
Yeah. And the thing that I've also discovered, and I love how you phrase this in your book, and you talk about the tree of beliefs, and I'm going to ask you to go through that because I love that, is that there's what we see that's like superficial, then there are the different layers underneath, and then there's that like big core one. So I love the way you explain it in your book. Please, can you take us through that?
Yeah, the tree of beliefs, really what it is, we've got different types of beliefs. So if we think about it, we've got beliefs that are very small, like the sun is going to rise tomorrow. We just kind of accept that. It's going to do it. It's going to happen. It's a belief, but it doesn't really affect our lives in any way. So that's a leaf belief. So if you think about a tree and you've got the leaves, then the next is a kind of branch belief. So a branch belief, kind of much smaller beliefs about yourself, that I can run fast, or I'm a good at exercising, stuff like that. It's not a huge kind of belief that's going to affect a lot of areas in your life, but it's still a belief that you have about yourself. So that's just a kind of small example. That's a branch belief. Then you've got come to a trunk belief. Now, a trunk belief, we're getting into the kind of area that is really quite significant in your life. And a trunk belief could be something like, I am confident. That could be a trunk belief. It could also be a root belief, but that could be a trunk belief. But the thing with trunk beliefs and root beliefs are that they affect every single kind of branch beliefs and every single leaf beliefs as well. So it's not just one belief that you have, that I am confident. That affects your kind of socialization. That affects kind of what job you take, how much money you make, what kind of social groups you kind of belong to as well. So if you think about that one belief and how much it affects your whole life, that's when we have to kind of look at those types of beliefs that we want to change. So really what we're looking to do with the book, The Belief Principle, is looking to change the trunk belief and the root beliefs as well. So the root beliefs are those kind of beliefs that kind of go deep into the ground or deep into your soul, as it is, and it really could be really difficult to change or uncover because we just don't know what they are. Because generally, people don't know what their own personal beliefs are.
Yeah.
Nobody's really questioned it. Nobody's really asked them, what do you believe about such and such? What do you believe about yourself? It's a difficult question to answer unless you're getting really specific and say, okay, are you a confident person? Yes, no. That's kind of a belief, but you'd have to ask hundreds of questions, thousands, to get to every single limiting or empowering belief that you have. So that's what the tree of beliefs are. Once you know about the tree of beliefs, we want to work on our kind of really root beliefs. And I've kind of got 7 beliefs in the book that are root beliefs that affect our whole life. So if you just change 7 beliefs in your life, you affect the whole tree, and in effect your whole life changes. It just won't be recognizable if you kind of change only 7. Even 1 belief you could change and your life is not recognizable.
Yeah. And in your 7 beliefs, or that you've got in your book, a couple of those is the am I enough, and the value and the worthy kind of beliefs that we have. And they're quite big ones, aren't they? They really cut to the core of us.
They're huge. They're huge because a lot of people, the very first belief that I kind of talk about in the book, so is the belief I am worthy. So I kind of talk about kind of affirmations, and anything you say after the statement I am is who you are, because that's who you believe you are. So we say a lot, I'm no good with computers, I've not got good memory, I'm no good at this, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm overweight. Anything you say after I am is who you are in your eyes. In your eyes, and that's the important thing to remember. Not in anybody else's, but in your eyes. But your eyes are really important. So we have to kind of look at those statements that we kind of say to ourselves, change them, because that goes to form our beliefs. Now we can change the I am statements. We can start to change our beliefs as well. So I can't remember what the question was, Sue. I kind of went off on a tangent.
Core beliefs, and when you were saying that, I was thinking that language is so important, isn't it? Because when we start making these statements, the language that we use. And just recently, I noticed something that I was doing without really even thinking a lot about it. But it's like, oh, I'm confused about this. I'm confused about this, and I'm like, hang on a minute. The more I say it, the more confused I'm getting. Yeah. So every time I would say it, I was just reaffirming to myself, I don't get it, I'm confused. And so I switched it. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say that anymore. I'm going to talk about, I'm trying to get clarity. So I talked about getting clarity rather than I'm confused. And I know it seems like a small thing, but it actually did help me.
That's actually a huge thing. And that's something we kind of talk about in the book as well. Because instead of saying, okay, I'm no good with computers, what happens when you say, I am no good at something, or I am this, I am that, and it's in the negative, your subconscious mind, it kind of shuts down. It's nowhere to go. So if you say, I'm no good with computers, and you try and do something on a computer, your subconscious mind is saying to you, you're no good with computers. What's the point of even trying? You're not going to be able to find a solution. You can't do this. You're hopeless at kind of computers. It's going to break down. Go and ask somebody else how to do it. That's what your subconscious mind is kind of saying below the surface. Now, if you kind of switch that around and say, I am getting better with computers all the time, then your subconscious mind kind of opens up, it kind of expands and just say, okay, how could I get better? So it's starting to look for solutions instead of just kind of shutting down altogether. Yeah. So just changing a few words like that, what you said, Sue, is really, really powerful. You think that's too simple to be effective, but it's often the simple things that are the most effective.
Yeah, and it speaks to the soul, doesn't it? Hello to Zviko, Pauline, Indu, Debbie, Anita, and William. Thank you so much for joining us. And like I've said earlier, if you didn't hear what I said, if you've got any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll come to them towards the end of the session. Stephen, the 7 principles that you talk about in the book, so there are 7 principles, and we all have either varying forms of those principles. I'll just get you to go through them, but also then some strategies for people to start shifting that mindset around these beliefs.
Yeah, so the it's not kind of 7 principles per se, it's 7 beliefs that are kind of in the book about kind of changing. Yeah, so 7 beliefs that you have. So it's kind of 7 root beliefs that I kind of talk about there. So the way, if we're looking at it and we're looking at beliefs, your own personal beliefs, there's a formula for changing your beliefs. So say, for example, you want to write a book. So I had to install this belief myself to write this book that I've written called The Belief Principle. You want to write a book, you've got to look at that as a goal and just say, okay, what beliefs do I need to have? You need to believe that you're kind of good enough to write a book, you've got enough information, people are going to read it, it's got enough kind of weight in the world for people to kind of make something of it and become better. So the formula is first have a perception, and that's a belief you want to install, or the limiting belief you want to get rid of, or the contrary to that. Find evidence for that, and then it's repetition. Then over time, that quickly forms a belief. So the first thing is, okay, I want to write a book. Okay, so what's the evidence? I've written thousands or hundreds of blog posts in the past. That's evidence I can write. I love reading. That's kind of evidence that I could write because I kind of know the structure and the format of writing a book. I'm a self-help junkie with books as well. Again, that's more evidence. And I've written stuff in the past. I've written a book, but it was just really a kind of blog post. That's more evidence. So you build up that evidence in your mind. And again, your subconscious mind is saying, okay, I can write a book, and it's building up a portfolio of evidence almost. Then you're kind of repeating that through affirmations. I'm a writer, I'm a good writer, I can write a book, I can do this. And then over time, that becomes a rock solid. If you imagine this as a rock solid belief, that's what happens. That's how beliefs are formed. Negative beliefs are formed in exactly the same way. They become rock solid beliefs because you're affirming, you're finding evidence. Subconscious mind is bringing up that evidence all the time when you try and do something to the contrary. So, but a lot of our beliefs are very kind of limiting beliefs. And then when we know a process to change that, you go, whoa, this is amazing to do this. But you still have to put in the work. It doesn't happen overnight, but it can happen within the space of 21 days to 30 days. It starts to kind of change into a new belief.
So it's almost like busting the myth and then putting the actions behind it, because it's in the combination of the, affirmations, finding the evidence and then putting the actions, that it's really formulated and strengthened, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's it. It's just strengthening that all the time. So if you think about it, if you're building a house, you have to really strengthen the foundations, and the foundations of a belief are your kind of evidence and kind of everything you're doing after that, and your affirmations. So that's really the kind of foundations of a belief as well. But you have to know kind of what your beliefs are in order to change them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a question here from Tanoon. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. What is the best way to reverse disastrous fears?
The best way to reverse disastrous fears. Fears are something different, because fears are kind of something in the brain, the kind of mammalian brain, if you will, almost, that is a kind of trigger and a reaction to something that's in front of you. So it could be part of a belief system as well, but generally not so. So if you're looking to change something, it'd probably be better with a specific example. Your belief, say, around snakes, if you're frightened of snakes, if that's a deep, deep fear that you have, then we'll have to kind of look at that. You don't need to go back to where it started. You have to kind of look at that and say, okay, what are the beliefs I have about snakes? Snakes are slimy, snakes are very scary, snakes are this. You've got to look at all those kind of beliefs and say, okay, how do I change each belief around that kind of the snakes? Like, snakes are scary, why are snakes scary? And turn them into something else, from a limiting belief that's holding you back into an empowering belief, saying, well, snakes actually are quite good because they do this for the ecosystem, and look at all the positive aspects and kind of look at that. But the belief principle is not really for fears per se, but it can be used for that as well. So it's looking at all the different aspects of fear and the fearful trigger as well before we can change that. So it's a slightly different kind of way to change your fears, but it can still be used.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
One of the other things that you talk about in your book is stories and the importance of stories. And is that part of building the beliefs? What is the...
Well, the importance of stories is because we have to justify a belief to ourselves in our own subconscious mind. So if we say, okay, I'm no good with figures, I'm no good at maths, we kind of justify that, but in the stories that we tell to other people. So you say, I'm no good at, when I was at school, my teacher told me I was absolute rubbish at school with maths, and I knew from then on I was never going to be any good. And then when I've tried to do my own books or my accounting for my business or something, I just couldn't do it. I'm no good with maths and figures at all. So I just pass it on to somebody else. So it's the stories that you tell yourself, the stories that you tell other people every day, day in, day out. And if you think about it, what we can say to other people a lot of the time in the stories we tell is, I'm no good at something. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. And we kind of tell those stories over and over. So it's reaffirming. It's all those kind of affirmations we're talking about. You're always reaffirming with the stories that you tell yourself and the justifications that you tell yourself as well, and the stories that you tell other people. So we can change our stories. We can just say, okay, I'm not good. I didn't think I was any good in the past, but I'm getting better and better with figures all the time. I'm getting better and better at maths. I'm getting really good at accounting. And it's just a process of change. It's that gradual process as well. And you gradually change your beliefs through the stories that you tell.
Yeah. And Tanun is asking, I think he's referring back to his original question about fears. He's saying high-level success. So I'm assuming that's his fears are around high-level success.
Right. Okay. So you can work on that. So obviously there's lots of different things and a whole area. You need to get life coaching with Sue for something like that. You need to kind of work on a lot of different beliefs. And a lot of people have that. They have a fear of success, or they just don't think they're going to be successful. So what we do is, instead of kind of looking at your life in a big kind of way and saying, okay, I need to earn $1 million and have this program or have this business to be successful, just break it down. What do you need today in order to start the process of being successful? So you need to kind of have a goal and something in mind to become successful. You can't just say, I want to be successful. What do you want to be successful in? Does it want to be as an author, as a kind of an online programmer? So you have to kind of know that first as well. So the whole load of things in that process, but you build it up. But what you're doing is what we said earlier on, you're gathering evidence for success. So once you gather small pieces of evidence for success, it gathers and kind of builds up into big kind of successful life. That's how successful people kind of build up, because they've got all these small successes. So it's like, how do you eat an elephant? It's that kind of old adage, one chunk at a time. So you do that with your life and your limiting beliefs as well.
Yeah, and that's where breaking things down to bite-sized pieces. So a goal can be really overwhelming when you look at, this is where I want, it's like, there's the top of the mountain, that's where I want to go, but it's taking the steps from the base of the mountain one at a time to achieve them. And along the way is when we discover some of those beliefs as well, those limiting beliefs, and we work through them as we're climbing up the mountain.
As you climb, but once you're working, once you get to the top as well, you've not only kind of changed the beliefs or the limiting beliefs around getting to the top of the mountain, you've changed so many other kind of branch and kind of trunk and root beliefs as well to get there. That's going to kind of help you in every single other area of your life as well. So like for determination, for example, that's a big belief, but that's not only going to help you to climb that mountain, it's going to help you in every other area of your life as well. It's transferable kind of beliefs that you can use.
That's right. And it's amazing when you hit one of those core beliefs and it just shatters everything, and you think, oh my gosh, I feel so much lighter. I see life in a whole different perspective now. Yeah. We've got Susie here. Welcome, Susie. And she says, keeping myself aware of my language is my priority. It's surprising how much I have to be aware of that. Yes, thank you. It is. We do it without thinking, isn't it? It's like our beliefs. They're just there all the time.
Yeah, well, if you imagine, we have 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day on average. This is what kind of psychologists say. And most of those thoughts are the same thoughts as yesterday. If we're repeating the same thoughts as yesterday and the day before, we're going to get the same results as we got yesterday. Yeah. So what do we do to change that? Well, we can use affirmations. We can become aware of our beliefs and start to use a different set of language, even for 15 minutes a day. For 15 minutes a day, you're changing, say, 1,000 of those thoughts that you're using yesterday, you're making it new thoughts. That gives you a new future. Just changing 1,000 thoughts per day, or saying an affirmation differently for 15 minutes per day, or meditation, changes so much. And that's what we have to become aware of. And that's what kind of Susie's talking about as well. But once we can do that, again, it's just a life changer.
It is. And the other thing I found is when I'm accountable to someone, when I'm working through something with someone, they hold me to my new commitment, but also they help me to see what I can't see.
Yeah.
And it just brings a whole new light in, and it strengthens the whole journey of working through those beliefs.
Yeah, and I think when you kind of, if you've got a life coach or something like that, that's brilliant to do that. But also if you join groups and things like, and this is what the kind of belief principle is. I want to, when I was writing the book, I was extremely aware of creating a movement. So if you can create a movement with a book, because with self-help books, the reason it's $1 billion industry, the self-help industry, is because people read the books and go, oh, that was brilliant, loved that. Then they put the book away and forget about it.
Yeah.
But if you can create a movement where people are doing hashtag belief principle, they're joining the group, they're talking about the book, they're actually taking action on it. If you can do that, then you've got a book that's really kind of worthwhile. Not that other books are not worthwhile, but you've got a book that's going to help people to change their life. And this is what the kind of belief principle is about. And being accountable, not only to yourself, but to others in the group as well. And what you're doing as well. So being a life coach, you can be accountable. And that's a big thing about life coaching as well. Yeah. It's that accountability thing as well. And that's what we've got with the belief principle group.
Yeah. And it'll be great if we can also put the link to your community for those who want to read the book and connect with that community for more, support. But also as a life coach myself, I have a coach because I need to be, have someone to work through some areas where I get stuck, because it's what you said earlier. The thinking that gets us into that space is the thinking that keeps us there. And sometimes we just need that little jolt from someone else to go, that's right, I see it now. And then you can move forward and get unstuck.
Yeah, because what your life coach is telling you, and what their life coach will tell them, and what their life coach will tell them, is they'll give them a different story or a possible scenario. So it's a possible kind of future that they have that you might not have seen before. And that's kind of what the life coaching is doing. And that's what we do in kind of group settings as well. It's different kind of possible scenarios. And you go, oh, I like that. I like the way that's going. And you get a different feeling, because your feelings or your beliefs have feelings as well, or feelings attached to them, vibrational energy. And when you get that, that's when you know, when you kind of feel something is right. And the group can give you that as well.
Yeah. And we are relational beings. And so working in community, working with others is always going to be a lot more uplifting. And we learn from one another, we support and we nurture one another. So, yes, I am a big fan of working with one another and growing together.
Excellent.
Now I've got Angela. Welcome, Angela. I picked up the guitar 8 months ago. It saved my life. I want to write a book to inspire others like me, with hopes that one day my book will be someone's survival guide. Well done, Angela.
Excellent. Well done.
Yeah. It's amazing how one shift in our life can take us from feeling like we're at the brink of something not great to renewed life and just enjoying and being again connected with life and finding your light. So well done, Angela. And I trust that your book will be out soon.
Yes, hopefully. So I think, I don't know if you were kind of asking the question about kind of believing about writing a book. Obviously, you can actually do it. You can 100% do it. If you've learned to do something, then you've got something to teach others as well. And if it's helped you, chances are it's going to help 1,000, 1,000,000 other people around the world as well. So go for it, Angela. I'll just say go for it and just do it.
Yeah, well done. Now, the other thing in the book that struck me was deep soul feelings. And what about deep soul feelings? Can you expand on that, please?
Yeah, so what I was trying, again, this is part of kind of really connecting with people in the book as well, and just say, I was kind of looking for a way. And this is kind of a story of how I came to a mantra. I was looking for a way to really connect people with their subconscious mind and really kind of get to the heart of their soul as well. And I kept on asking, how could I do that? I couldn't find a way to do it. So I go out kind of jogging in the morning, around about 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m. And then after the jog, it's only about 20 minutes, there's a beautiful place in Glasgow, at Glasgow University, where I sit on a bench and just look at this kind of Harry Potter kind of building. That's what it looks like. And I just meditate for 50 minutes. And as I was doing that, the kind of words, I don't know where they came from, and it's not religious in any way, but it just came, I am the light, I am the energy, I am the love, I am the universe. And those words came, and I thought, that's it, that's a mantra I've kind of been looking for. So I just I'd done that myself. I used the mantra for the next 30, 40 days. And for 15 minutes, I would just kind of sit on this bench and just say, I'm the light, I'm the energy, I'm the love, I'm the universe. And it was so kind of empowering and uplifting just to say those words. So I thought, that's it, that's what's going on in the book. And that's part of the deep soul feeling method. So it really connects with who you are. And I've recorded the MP3 for it as well. And then kind of writing down. So we've got to have kind of different modalities of learning and kind of getting things into mind. So listening, writing down, the physical act of writing down in a kind of journal, and writing the belief down that you want to change or you want to install, and kind of having that and providing evidence for it. So it's a whole kind of method to change this belief kind of that you want to kind of install. And that's how the deep soul feeling method was born, because it really connects with your subconscious mind and your soul, I feel as well.
Yeah, I love it. I read it and I thought I really enjoy reading this. As I was reading it, I was enjoying reading it, and it was the first time I'd read it. So I thought,
oh, excellent.
It's really a mantra to keep going back to. And for everyone that's here and jumped on, we've got a special little gift for them, don't we, Stephen?
Yes, we've got a free MP3 if you want to download. So part of the deep soul feeling method is the mantra. I recorded the mantra, so it's set into beautiful kind of music, and it's only 12 minutes long, and it's just kind of as that mantra. But if you want to listen to that and feel and kind of really kind of connect with your kind of soul, I think this could really help you as well. So we've got a free version of that you can get and download as well. I believe Adair is going to put the link to that in the comments just now. Or if you want to get that, what you can do is just write in Deep Soul. That's all you need to write in. So write in the comments just now, Deep Soul, and we'll send you the link to that. We'll reply to you with the link. But if you do really want it, just type in Deep Soul just now, and we'll get that sent over to you. We'll kind of respond to you very quickly and send that over. And it's going to be free as well. So yeah, that should help people as well. So just type in Deep Soul if you want to get that just now.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Stephen. So type Deep Soul in the chat, guys, and we will get that mantra to you from Stephen. Thank you. I'm interested to know some of the beliefs that you have overcome in your life that has changed your life and transformed, I guess, for you, Stephen.
The big one was intelligence. It really was intelligence. From when I was kind of 5 years old, I really, what I called, or what we called back then in Scotland, was thick. When somebody's thick, they're just not intelligent at all. So that was the word I used. I don't like it. I would never use it today. Yeah. But that stayed with me literally for the first 11 years of my life. And I really, really believed I was not intelligent at all. And then when I had that epiphany belief change, because I was walking home from school on a nice sunny afternoon, and I passed my history exam, I got an A in my history exam. And then it just kind of hit me, and I thought, I can't be thick if I've got an A in my history. And that's when I started to look for the evidence. And that's really where it all kind of came about. There's a whole kind of story behind it. But had it not been for that one belief change, I genuinely would not be here talking to you just now. Because of that belief change, I was the first person to go to university in my family ever. And I studied psychology. Because I was so interested, after that belief, I was so interested in the mind. And I thought, how is that possible that I've gone 11 years kind of believing that and I can change it in one day? Now, I thought you could change all your beliefs in one day. You can't. But you can have epiphany belief changes. It's few and far between. But you can change all your limiting beliefs. So that's where my deep interest in psychology came. And that's what led to the blog about change your thoughts, change your life. And that's what led to the book, The Belief Principle, and a whole host of other things I've done in my life as well. And the other big thing that I managed to change was the money beliefs. We've been passed down for hundreds of years these crappy money beliefs. Money doesn't grow on trees. We're not made of kind of money. We're not rich. You can't afford that. Can't do this. Can't do that. We're living in different times now. And we've been passed down these beliefs for kind of decades and hundreds of years. And a lot of people carry these beliefs, and I had that belief as well. Only when I kind of looked at that and changed it was I able to earn in my business. And the first year, just very quickly, the first year in my business, I earned 30,000 because I thought, okay, I could get to 30,000. Then I thought, I'm going to double it and can install the belief I can get to 60,000. And guess what? I got up to 60,000. So I hit what's called a belief ceiling, which I talk about in the book. I hit that ceiling, couldn't get past it because that's all I believed I could get to. So I thought, okay, I'm going to double it to 120,000 in my business. And I reached 120,000, then 250,000. And so we've all got these belief ceilings that we need to kind of stretch, but that's a whole different kind of story as well. Yeah. So I managed to change the money belief system as well. And it's just totally changed my life as well.
Yeah. And that reminds me, talking about this, we've got some, Angela says, I believe in me now. I know I'm good enough now. I had to be alone to learn to love me again. Way too many toxic relationships. Well done, Angela. Adair, I was the first in my family to go to uni too. Well done. Yeah. And Debbie, ditto. Catherine, that's a hard one. Yeah, it is. Money is a hard one. And I was very similar. I've been very similar to you in that my belief is that we've had to work hard. In my dad's and my mum's history, both my dad and my mum's family lost all their money through different reasons.
Yeah.
One through earthquake, one was through because the bank, this is going back in Greece, the bank, the currency was no longer good. So everything that was in the bank was lost. So, so there's kind of that historic thing, and it's always about working hard to earn. And so that belief that I just got to keep working hard to earn enough to keep going to, rather than wealth creation, which is huge steps away from earning your, to keep yourself going, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's massive, absolutely massive. And when you realize that, I think what we kind of do as business owners, when we first start, we're always thinking about how can I make more money? How can I sell this product? How can I make that product? How can I start kind of coaching to make more money? But the big shift for me was, instead of asking the question, how can I make more money? Because inevitably you do make some money, but it always kind of goes away. But if you keep on asking and focus on the question, how can I help more people? That changes everything, because you're always focused on helping more people. And as a side kind of benefit of that, you start making money in your business. And that's exactly what kind of happened with my business as well. And if you focus on that question in your business, it just changes so many different things. But it's just staying focused on the question, because sometimes you've not got any money and you go back to the question, how can I make more money? So it can be difficult, that one, yeah. But wealth creation is something totally different. Like, it's not just about surviving, it's about creating wealth for you and your family in the future.
Correct. Leaving a legacy behind.
Exactly.
Where it's not just about surviving day to day, but creating a whole for your family. And you were talking about that capacity, that limiting capacity, which reminded me of the 4 mile race, where there was a story where and I can't remember how long back, but there was a belief that you could not exceed a certain time in running a race. You could not exceed that time. What's it, the speed, what is it called, the best time?
4 minute mile. It was a 4 minute mile.
4 minute mile, that's right. And this guy's there was all these theories about it's not good for your health, you're going to have a heart attack.
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah. Nobody ran a 4 minute mile, and this guy thought, I'm doing it. I'm not listening to anybody. I'm just going to do it. And he
Yeah.
trained and he was warned against it. And he ran the 4-minute mile and he did it. And when he did it, not long after him, there were so many people that repeated that, because all of a sudden he busted that, kind of the ceiling. That's what we were talking about, the ceiling.
Yeah.
I love that story because I'm like, this is how we keep ourselves small.
And that's a perfect story. So that was Roger Bannister that kind of broke the 4-minute mile. And it's a perfect story because 11 people in the same year after that, or a year after that, kind of broke the 4-minute mile as well.
Yeah.
But it's such a brilliant story to kind of demonstrate the belief ceiling, because everybody was saying, there was doctors, and because doctors have authority, then it becomes even more believable and it becomes even more deeply entrenched. So you think if the doctors are saying it, then it must be true, which is not true. That's a different story altogether. But he done that, and it broke a universal belief, because that was a universal belief that he kind of broke. And since then, kind of everybody's running kind of 4-minute, not everybody, but a lot of people are running 4-minute miles. But yeah, that's a perfect illustration of the belief ceiling.
And what I loved about that story was, for how many years prior to that, nobody would go, touch the 4 minutes. And then he breaks that, and then 11 people in that same year.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is the reality of our beliefs and how they hold us back.
Yeah, and that's the same. It's nobody's special. Nobody is special. Every single person listening to this just now, and kind of every single person in the world, is the same. Everybody can change their beliefs. Everybody can get rid of their limiting beliefs and install new empowering beliefs. So it's not, you don't have to have a special set of skills or be a certain type of person. Every single person has the capacity to change and become the person they want to be. Yeah. But they might not believe it of themselves. Now is the time to start believing.
Yeah, and it's one step at a time. It's not taking on everything at once, because all you have to do is start somewhere. Start with one belief. Start with one area that you're stuck in. And what I've found and what I've seen with my clients is, it doesn't matter where they start. It kind of unwraps and unfolds in so many different areas of their lives.
Yeah.
And touches so many other beliefs as well.
Yeah, and that's what we're saying about, if you kind of change one belief, you're not only really changing one belief, like I am confident, it touches so many other areas of your life as well. It just changes your whole life. That one belief, if you install it, can change your whole life. And that's what in the book is just talking about 7 kind of root beliefs. If that's all you did was work on them, then that's all you need to kind of work on, because it changes so many other beliefs that you have.
Yeah. Stephen, apart from your book, what, I guess, in your experience, in your many years that you're working in this, what other areas would you like to share around the beliefs with those that are watching live now and then later in our recording?
So, in what sense, Sue?
Sorry,
in what way do you mean? Sorry.
I'm just saying, what else is there that you feel around the whole area of beliefs is worth sharing with the guys that are watching us live? And
sorry, right, okay, I understand the question. Right, I think to do this, it's like kind of what we were saying earlier, that there's nothing kind of special about this. There's a kind of set formula that you have to look at. So what I would do is just pick, as we said earlier, just pick one goal that you have, a small goal that you have that you've not been able to kind of achieve, or you've kind of said to yourself, oh, I couldn't do that, there's no way I could do that. Just one goal, and then kind of write it down the top of a sheet of kind of A4 paper or a kind of notebook, and then look at all the different beliefs that you need to achieve that goal. Even if it's really small beliefs, work on that, because if you work on that, and when you achieve it, not if you achieve it, but when you achieve it, that gives you your first success.
Yeah.
That gives you your first piece of evidence that this process works. When you've got that first piece of evidence under your belt, it kind of breaks down the belief that this is going to be hard. So it changes the belief from this is going to be hard to this is going to be easy. If you can change it to this is going to be easy, that breaks down so many other beliefs, and that breaks down kind of the process again to make it a much more easier process. Then you go, if I can do it with this belief, I could maybe work on it, and you get excited and say, well, I could start to believe that I'm really confident, So you write that down, that's your goal to become really confident. Or it might be I'm confident in social circumstances, to break it down further. And then you start to work on those beliefs, what are the limiting beliefs around it. And then again, once you start to see some success, it builds up that portfolio of evidence that your subconscious and your conscious mind needs to get. And then it changes so many other parts. So start very small, one small belief, get your success kind of portfolio built up, or your belief and evidence kind of portfolio built up. And it'll be a snowball effect, and things will start to change so quickly for you.
And sometimes, don't you find it's just about starting with being open and curious with what is possible?
Yeah, and that's it. That's it. Because a lot of people watching this, we have to be honest. A lot of people watching this just going to say that's not possible, and the subconscious mind is already shut down. It's not possible, so it ain't going to happen for them. That's cool. They're just not ready for that message yet. But if you're thinking, I wonder if that's actually true. I wonder if that could work. I wonder if he's not talking absolute mince, and it might work for me if they try it. So that's just about being curious as well. So if you've got that attitude, just try it. So that's how evolution kind of happens. People being curious.
Yeah, and watch the yes but. You know, when we listen to something and we go yes but, we're already shutting that possibility, aren't we?
Yeah, so with the yes buts, that's a brilliant way of saying it as well. So with the yes but, what you're doing is you're coming to the gate that could change your life. And so you've got to the gate, and then you're just about to open the gate, and then that but kind of comes in. So you can't open the gate because that but is in the way. So once you get rid of that but, so yes, but I've not got the money for that, or yes, but I'm not determined enough for that, or yes, but I'm not determined enough. That's the gate that is going to enclose you and keep you in your comfort zone. You need to open that gate, that but gate. Yeah. That sounds bad, but you know what I mean? It's going to open that and change your life.
Let it slide, Stephen.
You know what I mean?
Emily is saying, wow, I have found this live so incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you very much.
Violet, yes, baby steps, exactly, Violet. And Catherine is asking, what are techniques to use when you fail at your goal? How do you reframe your move forward in your goal?
Again, it's taking the small steps, and Catherine, just taking the small steps and looking at the goal. When you, this is going to sound so cliched, you don't really fail at it. You just learn a different way of reaching your goal. So you're just saying, okay, I failed at that goal, but you've not really failed at the goal. You've just learned to say, okay, the way I've done it before is not going to help me reach this goal. So you look at other ways and ask yourself, this is the beautiful thing. If you ask your subconscious mind questions and leave it to marinate, it's going to come up with answers for you. So if you say, okay, what other ways could I find to reach this goal? Leave it as soon as you've asked it, what other ways could I find to reach this goal? And let that marinate in your kind of subconscious mind. You've made it conscious. You're asking the subconscious mind, what other ways could I find to reach this goal? And then things will start to bubble up from the kind of marination that it's almost kind of cooking away. And then when you're in the shower, you're going for a walk, on a bike ride, or on the bus or something, on the train, you'll get a wee solution. You'll just say, oh, you could try this. And it takes you on a different path to reach your goal. So you've not failed at it. You've just found a way that's not working for you just now. But ask questions. Ask questions of your subconscious mind all the time. And I'm going to give you a really silly but strange kind of example. So about asking questions. So we've got kind of cupboard in the house. It's a towel cupboard. We put our towels in. And we usually what we do, we just fold towels, and they're kind of piled up and they're falling all over the place, the towels. And
yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people go, so ask the question, what is another way to get these towels in the cupboard and kind of store them in a kind of good way? Because I could only store about 12 towels before they started all falling down. They're all over the place. So about 2 weeks later, a solution came up to fold these towels. And what was is fold it a certain way, roll it, put it on the shelf, and instead of only getting 14 towels on the shelf, I could now get 40 towels on the shelf, and they're all extremely neat and tidy. And that's a silly example, but it's a great example of asking your subconscious mind questions, and then something bubbles up to the surface.
Yeah, and I like what you say about failure is not failure. And I can't remember who quoted this, but they talk about they are not times that I failed; they are steps towards my success. Because in those what we call failing moments is where we learn what isn't working, and we then look at okay, now I can eliminate this and look at what else I can do. And I guess also behind that question, Catherine, is looking at, I work with my clients to look at what are the strategies that we're using to achieve those goals? What are the steps that we're taking? Does that goal even align with your values? Is it really what where you want to go in the end, when you work out your values? So it's also looking at, excuse me, and my croaky throat, but it's also looking at not just the beliefs, because the beliefs are part of it, but also what strategies are you using to move those goals forwards.
Yeah. But so I think that's all part of the kind of package as well. I think it was Mahatma Gandhi that said it also kind of starts with your beliefs. So your beliefs kind of form your thoughts form your words form your actions form your habits form your values, and your values form your destiny. So it's all kind of intermingled with each other. Once you find your beliefs that you want to kind of really kind of go forward with, you start to really kind of find your values. Once you find your values, you find or can define your boundaries in life. So if you've got boundaries in your life where nobody can cross, so if you've got boundaries that say, okay, you cannot do, I'm not going to allow you to do this to me, and you've got boundaries in place, and you tell people that you've got good boundaries in place, you've got the beliefs, you've got the values, and that's what drives you forward as well. And a lot of people don't have that, and it's good as a life coach you kind of teach that as well. So your values kind of help you create boundaries in your life as well.
Yeah, and as we were talking earlier about the expansion model that I'm working with, all those things are linked. The values, the self-respect, because if we, how do we value ourselves is how people will also value us. The responsibility we take to take charge of our lives, but kind of wrapping all of that up is the beliefs system that kind of sits around it all, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's a brilliant kind of line in a book. I think it's something, The Importance of Being a Wallflower or something, by Steven Aitchison. He's got, you accept the love you think you deserve.
Yeah.
That pertains, and that kind of goes across all areas of your life. You accept the wealth you think you deserve. You accept the love you think you deserve. You accept the relationships you think you deserve as well. And that's all about your beliefs, your values, and your boundaries as well. When you kind of have more self-respect and have a higher feeling of self-worth, there's certain things you're not going to kind of accept in your life anymore. So you're not going to accept those toxic relationships because you're worth more. I am worthy. That's one of the big beliefs. When you kind of really deep down feel, deep soul kind of feel it, that you're worthy, you don't accept those toxic relationships. They're not in your life anymore. But because the way you feel just now, possibly the way you feel just now, you think that's all you're worth just now. So you accept those types of relationships. When that changes, your life changes as well. That's why it's important to really kind of look at yourself and say, I am enough, or I am worthy, or I take responsibility for everything that happens in my life. When you do that, you empower yourself. You're taking all the power for yourself and not giving your power away to other people.
Correct. And Violet says, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And that's from Winston Churchill. I love that quote.
Love that quote. Love that.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Emily is asking, how do you find the light when you don't know where to start?
How do you find the light when you don't know where to start? It all starts with what you think you want. So when I say what you think you want, it's because usually we think we want something in our life and it takes us down a path. But then we start to realize, because we're taking the first steps, it's all about taking the first steps. When you start to take the first steps towards or down that path, what usually you'll tend to find happens is it kind of veers off and goes onto a different path. But the important thing is you've taken the first step. So you might think you want $1 million in the bank, but it's not really. What you're looking for is freedom. So you take the first steps towards getting $1 million in the bank, and then you say, when you're further down the line, you've got more confidence and more self-respect. You say, actually, it's not $1 million. I just want to be free. I don't want to have this job because I want to be free. So it takes you down a different path. So your destiny or your destination is not necessarily where you think you want to go, but it's where you're going to kind of end up. But the important thing is to take the first steps.
Yeah. And then that kind of feeds into the whole, our purpose and our connection to self, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because we all have a purpose in our life, and our purpose is to find that purpose in our life. What's the bigger picture here? You've got everybody asks that, and some people die. Most people die not knowing what their purpose was in life, which means they'll probably come back again and they'll find a purpose in another life if you believe in that. But I've found a purpose. You've found your purpose, I believe, as well, Sue. A lot of other people are going to find a purpose, and usually it involves helping other people in some way. So if we think about it on those kind of along those lines as well, then we're kind of closer to finding what our purpose is. But we each have our own path to finding what our purpose is.
Yeah, and we're all unique, and we all have a unique purpose to fulfill. And I've had clients say, I'm really stuck. I don't know what that is. And it's not until we work through that self-connection and that self-value and that self-worth and knowing who, I am, it's not until that then the purpose finds you, really, in a sense, because we can, once we've dealt with some of those beliefs and areas that keep us a bit blind and it becomes blurry what is ahead of us. Once we remove those and things open up and the veils are, I say the veils come off, you start to get clarity around that and you start to connect with that in a different way.
Yeah, and that's what you talk about, the veils. I call it the belief filter. So we've all got belief filters in our life, and you see the world differently from me, Sue, and everybody that's kind of watching this just now sees the world totally different. So our reality, 7.5 billion people on Earth, all the realities are totally different. So what you see in front of you and what 7.5 billion other people see in front of them is totally different. And it's all to do with the beliefs that we have. And this something in between what we see and kind of our eyes is filters. And those filters are our beliefs. Now, if we change our beliefs and kind of break down all those limiting beliefs, we're getting clarity on what life is about, but more importantly, what our life is about. You can only help other people in life if you help yourself first. You need to help yourself and become almost enlightened, if you will. To a degree, we're not all going to become enlightened in our lifetime, but we can as much as possible. And that's about breaking down those kind of belief or limiting beliefs that we have, getting more clarity, and that way we can move forward in life as well.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just about, I want to be the best, mother for my children, or I want to be the best carer as a worker in my workplace. I want to be the best customer service person, because that smile, that joy that person brings when you go to that front counter illuminates the other person.
Exactly. And that's,
Yeah.
And that's, I think me and my wife, Sharon, we have something we've kind of done. We did it unconsciously, then we kind of made each other aware of it. But to have a brilliant relationship, you've got to ask yourself, if we've got an amazing marriage, I feel, you've got to ask yourself, how can I make Sharon's life better today? If you're asking that question every single day, literally, and I mean, kind of asking, not being in a kind of cheesy kind of way or anything, but asking yourself that question, how can I make her life better? Would it be just to kind of bring the car from where it is round to the front of the house so she can just jump out when she's going to work and jump right into the car instead of having to walk? Small things like that. But if you're asking a question all the time, how can I make this life or this person's life better in some way? But you do that in every way. How can I become a better customer service manager? How can I become a better mother? And again, it's those questions to your subconscious mind. And if that's at the forefront of your mind all the time, things are going to bubble up where you could become the best mother in the world. the best. To the best of your abilities. Obviously, it's going to be different for everybody, but that's how you do it.
Yeah. And I always say your purpose is also connected with what brings you great joy. We sometimes don't connect the two, and it's like, what feeds my soul? What lights me up? Like what energizes me, and what drains the blood out of me? They're energetically, you really can tell when something really lights you up or something just drains you. And it's like, I'm just drained after I do this.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you should say it, because I was talking with somebody, a couple of people, when I talked to them, they kept on saying, when I was doing live shows on kind of Facebook, I was doing it every day for about 2 years. I was doing the live shows, and they said, every time you talk about beliefs, your energy kind of lights up. You light up your face. You become more animated, and that was one of the reasons I kind of wrote the book, The Belief Principle, because I love it so much. Because I realize just how much of an impact it could have, and I think that brings me the most joy. So if you find that in your lifetime, wow.
Yeah. Well, Steven, we're kind of come to the end of our session. So before we wrap it up, is there any final words of wisdom or tips that you have for everyone that's listening?
Yes. Ask yourself one question. What do I want for me in my life? Not what do I want for my children, what do I want for my husband, what do I want for my wife, what do I want for me in my life? If you can do something for you and you find something that you want to do and you really want to achieve something, that is going to help so many other people around about you, if that's part of your goal as well. But you've got to sometimes, what is perceived as being selfish, in order to bring more joy into your life, like Sue was saying. So think about that one question. What do I want for me that's going to bring kind of me joy in my life or something? If you ask that question, it'll start to marinate in your mind, it'll bubble up, and you'll start to go on a different path from what you're going just now. So just ask one question. What do I want for me? And I think that could change kind of your life in some way.
Yeah, and that is a tough question. It seems like a simple question, but it's a tough question, but it is a very important question to ask yourself. And what I've noticed is sometimes when people ask that question of themselves, when I ask, my clients, when I speak to them and say that, they hear the voices of other people at that moment, and they are distracted by what others want for them or think they should have. So I agree totally with you. Brilliant question to ask. And if I can say, stick with it, guys. Don't be distracted by the other voices in your head. Keep asking, like Steven said, that question repeatedly until you get to that, actually, that's what I want.
Yep. I think that could be amazing. That kind of leads you down a whole different path in your life as well. Empowers you. That's what it does. It empowers you energetically.
Yeah. Thank you, Steven, for being on. It's been just a great night. I've loved it. I've been looking forward to it for so long. Thank you. And I'm sure everybody else on here has enjoyed it. And just to remind everyone, if you would like the free gift of the Deep Soul Feelings Mantra recording from Steven, please put, what did we ask them to put, Steven?
If you just type in Deep Soul into the comments, type in Deep Soul into the comments. What we'll do, we'll reply to each comment and just give you the link for that as well. So if you want that, so it's called the Deep Soul Feeling Method Mantra. And it's a beautiful mantra that I think listening to 10, 12 minutes a day is going to really kind of make you think about things and kind of really relax you. Just type in Deep Soul into the comments and we'll send that over for you.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Go be the amazing beings that you are. Thank you for joining us and have a wonderful night.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Sue, to you as well. Really been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you.